Jamie Dimon says World War III may have already begun. I'm going to speak more on this subject, but before I do so, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace to the hopeful elect scattered abroad at the four corners of the earth. So this is an article from Fortune. I'm going to read through it real quick. And this came out October 29th, 2024. So, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon isn't hugely optimistic about the state of global politics. In fact, he thinks it's the biggest threat facing the economy. But he now fears conflicts in the likes of Ukraine and the Middle East have begun a chain of events that may spiral into a third world war. Speaking at the Institute of International Finance last week, Dimon said the outlook on the next quarter and whether the U.S. will have a hard or soft landing is a teeny matter compared to geopolitics. Russia, North Korea, and Iran, a trio Dimon previously labeled as an evil axis, as well as China, are actively working together to dismantle the systems set up by the Allies following World War II, such as NATO, he added. And they're talking about doing it now. So, for those of you that don't know, he's talking about BRICS. BRICS. So that's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. That's what the acronym stands for. Oh, and South Africa. So, BRICS is supposed to be like the counter to NATO, but really they're just two sides of the same coin. If I'm not mistaken, how BRICS even came about was someone from JP Morgan offshooting and starting that organization. So, personally, I think that the U.S. is a sacrifice. It's obvious that the U.S. being a world power is dwindling. So they're looking to see who's going to be next up to the plate. And it's not going to be America spearheading it. So let me just continue on with the article. And they're talking about doing it now, he said, in a recording obtained by Fortune. They're not talking about waiting 20 years. And so the risk of this is it's extraordinary if you read history. Referencing a Washington Post article, Dimon continued, World War III has already begun. You already have battles on the ground being coordinated in multiple countries. Mistakes happen, he added. Look at how we tripped into World War II when Czechoslovakia was split up. Sounds a little like Ukraine. That was the end of it until they invaded Poland. We shan't be naive. What we should be thinking about is we can't take the chance this will resolve itself. We have to make sure that we are involved in doing the right things to get it resolved properly. Luckily for those watching the news with a sense of impending doom, Dimon did have some faith that all-out war isn't a foregone conclusion. Well, it is a foregone conclusion because this is Bible prophecy that we're seeing play out right before our eyes. So that's it on this article. I'm not even going to read anymore. Do it. If y'all want, y'all can check it out for yourselves. So, oh, there goes Diddy on the ad. You see, that's the thing. People aren't even concerned about what's going on in the real world as far as geopolitics goes. You know, that's what has an effect on your life. You know, who cares about Diddy, right? You know, that's a small matter. in the grand scheme of things. So, um, I just got two precepts that I want to read. This was a pretty good article, you know. So, this is Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my lands. So the valley of Jehoshaphat, meaning the Most High's judgment. In Hebrew, it's Yahweh Shaphat. Like I said, it means the Most High's judgment. So this is a place in the Middle East. So that's where this war is going to end up taking place at. You know, right now, they do have troops over there in the Middle East. They also have troops scattered across Europe, such as Ukraine. And so this is only going to escalate and get worse, you know. So I just want to also focus in on that word plead. It says, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage, Israel. So when you go into that word plead in Hebrew, let's check it out. It means judge. So here we go. So to judge, govern, vindicate, punish. I like that. Punish. So that's what it means. Also, while I'm here, I might as well go into the word Jehoshaphat. Right here it says, Jehovah has judged. That's the outline of biblical usage. So that's what it means, the Most High's judgment. So the average person doesn't even know that these world powers is getting walked into a third world war. You know, there's a scripture in the Apocrypha that says, when a rich man talks, the people listen. When a poor man talks, the people do not listen. Roughly paraphrasing. So Jamie Dimon is a man of stature, and so when he says things like this, you know, news outlets pick up on it. You know what I mean? So next precept. This is 2 Ezra 7:43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. So the day of doom really is World War III. There's a lot that comes along with World War III. You know, America is known as Babylon the Great in the book of Revelation. And so America has a great judgment coming to it. More specifically, judgment of fire. You see, it's going to happen through the ICBM missiles and the hypersonic missiles that these various countries possess. So let me just read this again. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, right? Because right now we're living in a time of Esau. Second Esdras 6:9 says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth." So the question is, who's in power right now? Who's ruling? The answer is Esau. And so once Esau's power is gone, then who's next up? It's Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. You see, that's one of the main reasons why Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is coming back. He's coming back to set up the kingdom of heaven on earth. Continuing, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of the immortality for to come. Because believe it or not, once the Israelites take over the world, they're going to be like gods on this earth. They're going to be like superheroes, so you can get an understanding. And so we're not going to be suffering from illnesses or worrying about old age and dying and having to plan your funeral, things of that sort. Wherein corruption is past, because this is a corrupt, wicked world that we live in. And it's really like that because the Israelites are in power right now. You understand? So actually I want to go back to Joel chapter 3, and I want to start off from the first verse. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning the Most High, He's going to deliver us from our captivity that we're currently living in. Because that's what we're really under. People have the illusion that we have freedom, but think about it. You have to pay taxes. If you want to leave the country, you need a passport. You have a birth certificate. I can go on and on. So are you really free? Is Jake really free? So let me read this in the NLT. See how it sounds. At the time of those events, which this is letting you know that this is a future prophecy, says the Lord, when I restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem, right? Because currently we're not a prosperous people. None of us really have financial freedom. And the jakes that you do see with money, it's few and in between, man. As one brother has it, that doesn't mean that we all have it. You know what I mean? In a perfect world, every Israelite is going to be rich and prosperous. And that's the kingdom of heaven. That's what we're waiting on. Verse 2, I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I will judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. Because the 12 tribes of Israel, it's a reason why they're called the lost 12 tribes of Israel. However, now known and found, have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth through the triangular slave trade, also from losing our holy land. You know what I mean? It's history. It's deep. People are under the impression that our history is Africa. We was up in Africa. We was princes, African princes. You know what I mean? The old stories. However, we never hear nobody tying the fact that we're the Israelites. So that's major information that's been suppressed throughout the years. But that's the whole point of the prophets being risen up, is to pretty much remove the veil from people's eyes. And I also have to mention the fact that this this information, this knowledge that I'm teaching, you know, it's not for everybody, man. I can read through Bible prophecy and tie it together with world events, and it'll still go over people's heads. People will still lack faith. So what I'm really trying to say is that this information is only for the elect of Israel. The Bible speaks about how there's an elect, 144,000 and one third. I might as well read verse 3. Oh, before I read verse 3, I also want to touch on how it says, for dividing up my land. So the land that it's referring to is Israel, okay? So we're not in our respected place. We're not in our holy land. Remember how I said that the Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So when we get our land back, that'll be a fulfillment of prophecy as well. Us leaving was a fulfillment, and us coming back will be a fulfillment of prophecy. You know what I mean? As it stands now, you got the heathens living in that land. Continuing on, verse 3, they threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes and sold girls for enough wine to get drunk. What does this sound like to you? It sounds like the transatlantic slave trade, because that's what it is. The Bible really goes deep into our history as a people. However, most of our people aren't privy to this information. It's sad. It really is. Verse 4, what do you have against me, Tyre and Sidon, and you cities of Philistia? Tyre and Sidon are African nations, Hamite nations. Are you trying to take revenge on me? If you are, then watch out. I will strike swiftly and pay you back for everything you have done. You have taken my silver and gold and all my precious treasures, and have carried them off to your pagan temples. You have sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem to the Greeks, so they could take them far from their homeland. So the Greeks are the Edomites. And if you don't know who the Edomites are, then go ahead and ask somebody. It should be obvious. Who was the ones that spearheaded the transatlantic slave trade? The answer to that should be obvious. So that's who the Edomites are, as a people, as a race. But I will bring them back from all the places to which you sold them, and I will pay you back for everything you have done. I will sell your sons and daughters to the people of Judah, and they will sell them to the people of Arabia, a nation far away. I, the Lord, have spoken. So this is prophecy that I'm reading. Understand that this has not been fulfilled yet. Okay? However, we're close. So that's all I got for y'all. So, things is heating up now with this war. So, I mean, it's not even November yet. Can only imagine what's going to take place in that month, and so on and so forth. So anyway, hope y'all found this video edifying. Peace until next time.